Hello everyone! Today we'll be starting a new TechKon series called the TechKon PodCast. Yes, we are totally creative. So we are yet to create a name for this brand new series. So today, joining us in our first podcast are our head administrator at TechKon, William, who can be found at TechCrack on Twitter. Introduce yourself, William.
Just like he said, I'm William. I'm one of the founders of TechKon, the website that you're watching this podcast on now. And yeah, I have a YouTube channel called TechCrack where I post reviews and other stuff and tech videos. And I also have Twitter, so feel free to follow me on Twitter. And I'll be talking about the new things that will be announced on WWDC.
And also we have a guest, Graham Smith, who I'm sure most of you have heard from all those Apple rumors on famous websites. So introduce yourself, Graham.
Okay, I'm Graham Smith. I run TechUnwrap.com, and I was recently hired to run the Zugu.com blog. That's really all you need to know about me.
Alright, then you can find him at Tech Unwrapped on Twitter. All links will be in the description bar. So, today we're going to be discussing everything that is to be expected on one of the best events of the year, the Worldwide Developer Conference for year 2012. So let's start with the Macs. So, a few days ago, an image was reported by 9to5Mac that represented what Mac models are to be updated. Have any of you guys seen it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
So,
I've seen this.
First thing, the MacBook Pros. So the 13 inches. Do any of you guys think Apple's gonna update the 13-inch MacBook Pros?
Well, for me, as I've heard from other rumors, I think that the 13-inch will be dropped, and that the 13-inch MacBook Air is going to have, what was it like? The 13-inch MacBook Air will be the new 13-inch MacBook Pro, as it doesn't make any sense to have a Pro and an Air, as the Air is also a quite powerful machine. So I think Apple will drop the 13-inch Pro.
Graham, what are your thoughts?
I would think that might make sense. I still think they'd have it just because the Pro has more power than in some instances, because you can still get a smaller screen and more RAM and more power out of the MacBook Pro. But see, with a MacBook Air, you can only go up to a certain point. I mean, it's still powerful, but it would be more expensive for all that power that's in the MacBook Pro 13-inch that you could put in there custom-wise to be put in the MacBook Air. So I think they're gonna keep it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep it too because education and stuff. It's a summer vacation in the United States, so this would be the perfect time for students to probably get new MacBook Pros, maybe the 13-inch base models. They're not that expensive anyway, $1,000, I think.
Yeah.
And they're also gonna make them thinner and stuff, so that'll tempt people to pay for something a little more expensive, because Apple always wants the people to buy the higher priced material.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's rumored that if Apple does update the 13-inch, there will be two models, which are only spec bump upgrades or updates. So there will be no Retina display, retaining the same 1280 by 800 resolution, and a 2.5 GHz dual-core Intel i5 processor, Intel HD graphics 4000, a USB 3.0, and its weight to be bumped up from 2.04 kilograms to 2.06. What do you guys think of that?
USB 3.0 is of course very welcome, and I think it's about time to have USB 3 integrated into the Macs, as USB 3 is slowly coming to the market, and many products and hard disks are already using the USB 3.0 technology, and why not have it on a Mac? It's always welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep using FireWire.
Yeah, FireWire is alright, but it's not as versatile as USB 3. I mean, I mean, it's a standard in the market now, and FireWire isn't. So it's of course a very welcome feature that's going to be on the Mac on the Macs.
Yeah, and the Retina display.
Retina display, yeah, Retina display is possible, but you know the Retina displays, they're still quite expensive. I mean, high resolution displays that are on the market right now are still expensive, and I wouldn't be mad if Apple didn't update the MacBook Pros without a Retina display, as I'm not the resolution freak that likes to have like the greatest resolution on laptop. I mean, after all, it's a laptop. I mean, why would you need such a high resolution display? But it's welcome. Why not have one?
Well, I personally don't think, based on the rumors, Apple put Retina display into the MacBook Pro, the 13-inch MacBook Pro, because, that image that we showed you guys in the beginning of the podcast, well, you can see that the first three, MacBook Pros, it says 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro, so I think they're only going to bring the Retina display to the MacBook Pro, but not the 13-inch MacBook Pro, because, it's... I actually have no idea.
It's higher end.
Yeah,
it's higher end.
Yeah. And like $3,000 for the 15-inch MacBook Pro.
Also,
Jesus
the
Christ.
weight change would make sense because you're saying it went from 0.06, I mean 0.04 to 0.06, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well that would make sense given Apple's, like, as soon as Tim Cook's kind of taken over, I've seen some differences in their new products. Like the iPad 3, they went for more power and nicer display and more weight, which is unlike Apple because it was always the thinnest, lightest,
Well, the iPad...
while still being powerful.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
But since I think before Steve Jobs passed away last year on October, and I think before he passed away, he sort of made a plan for Apple for like when to release Macs. I mean, how to update them with what specs. Sort of like a timeline for when to do what. Just for the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I heard it was 4 years of plans before he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Steve Jobs controlled the recent products that were released. I mean, the iPad, the new Macs. I think he was involved in these projects or products.
Well, yeah, I still think they are using this as an opportunity to try and shift their. Because if they knew he was going to pass away, they could use this as a time to make this shift to more power. They could use it as an excuse to make something thicker and heavier.
Mm.
Alright, so, nice thoughts. Moving on to the 15-inch MacBook Pro. So, this is the highly speculated MacBook Pro that was first rumored by 9to5Mac. So, according to them, there'll be 4 new models. 2 of them will be slight updates of the current models, and the other 2 will be upgraded in the following ways. Retina display, a thinner profile, lighter weight, USB 3.0, the new Samsung SSDs 830s, which are set to read and write at 500 megs and 400 megs, and optical drive will be removed, Ivy Bridge processors, 8 GB of RAM by default, and yeah. So, what are your thoughts?
I think that's a good update overall, because the amount of RAM is well needed, and what I've experienced with the tests for Mountain Lion, expecting that it'll be on this new Mac as soon as it comes out, is it is more RAM intensive than previous versions.
And it's a
Yeah.
MacBook Pro, MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody with MacBook Pros that have 8 gigabytes, and they actually want more too, because a lot of them are YouTubers and they do video rendering.
Yeah, and that's essential for doing stuff like that. And these Pro machines are also used by photographers, video filmmakers, and students, of course. But I don't think that there will be an SSD by default because SSDs are still quite expensive, and I can't see Apple having an SSD with the same price with the same prices as like I told you earlier. SSDs are still quite expensive, so
Well,
I
I
can't
think.
see that happening.
Well, you remember the image that we talked about, the all the Macs and stuff.
Yeah.
As you can see, there are two specific MacBook Pros that would be a much higher price for the 15 inches.
Yeah.
Like specifically written the MacBook Pros. I think those are where the SSD is gonna come by default. I mean, look at the price, 3,199 Australian dollars. That's like 3,000 US dollars, but that's insane.
Yeah, that is about 3,000 US dollars.
Yeah.
Or if you round.
Yeah.
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 It's about that price, and
I'm just skeptical about SSD in general.
yeah.
You know, I'm afraid to make the switch just because I hear that memory over time just kind of like evaporates.
Mm,
They lose capacity over time, and I'm sure hard drives do the same, and the hard drives fail. But pricing, like even though hard drives are really expensive right now because of floods, the
Yeah.
SSDs are way more expensive, and with less capacity too.
Yeah.
I can't
that-
find a 1 terabyte SSD anywhere.
Dude, that's insane.
No, I mean for real. I can't see Apple making a switch to SSD this year, but I'm pretty confident that Apple will make the switch to SSD next year, as the technology will be more ready next year because companies are developing better SSDs over the next year, and like I told you, SSD is not ready SSD is not ready yet, so I can't see the switch happening this year.
Well, I think they will make the switch. I mean, they were pretty strong when they announced the MacBook Air with the SSDs, and it also gives Tim Cook another chance to kind of laugh, spit on the grave of Flash, because they'll be like, "Oh, we have Flash in this new device, Flash memory, that is." Because now Macs don't even come with Flash installed.
Yeah. I mean, the MacBook Airs had SSDs because they needed to be thin, and they just soldered the SSDs into the motherboard. So that so that made more sense for the MacBook Air. But I can't see I can't see having the MacBook Pro. I can't see the MacBook Pro having an SSD. I mean, an optical drive would be fine, but if there isn't an optical drive, then I still wouldn't be furious, as I don't use DVDs as much as I used to like 2 years ago. I mean, we all use USB flash drives now.
Or downloads.
Or downloads in cloud.
It depends on what internet speeds you have or what service provider. But
Yeah.
I think they probably will. I'm not sure if they will get rid of the optical drive or not. I think they will leave it just for now, because they need to offer an alternative that has a good disk drive. Because I know a lot of people that don't have good internet, and so they can't download movies. They have to rent them and put them in their computer so they can watch them on their computer.
Yeah, and after all, it's a pro machine, and pros, and I'm pretty sure the pros still use CDs for the work. So this year, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Apple's gonna drop the DVD drive. That's what I think.
So William, talking about optical drives,
Yeah.
you think Apple will involve Blu-ray optical drives into the MacBook Pros? I mean, Blu-ray is getting more and more into the public world these days. You know, people are going for Blu-ray instead of just 1080p on their TVs. So why not put a Blu-ray drive into the MacBook Pros? I mean, it is a MacBook Pro, like you said.
Yeah, but as I've heard, Apple doesn't like the idea of Blu-ray. They're more like into the cloud, get stuff from the cloud, stream it to your Apple TV, and watch it on an actual TV. and yeah, you can still hook it up via HDMI, but Apple doesn't have that. It doesn't have a really good relationship with Sony, and Blu-ray. No, I can't see it happening. Blu-ray isn't something that Apple would be looking at right now. Maybe if it becomes more mainstream.
Yeah, maybe next year, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the rumors of an Apple TV, if they make one of those, they definitely won't be going with, well, like not the Apple TV, the box, but like an HD TV.
Yeah.
They wouldn't go with Blu-ray if they made one of those, because that would be a huge push into downloadable content.
Yeah, it would take forever to download. Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe make, instead of using Blu-ray discs, use maybe like a flash drive or a new sort of standard. Instead of CDs, use like a flash drive or I don't know, something like that. And just hook it up onto your TV.
Well, they are gonna make it thinner, so how are they gonna make any space for the optical drive?
Yeah. Also, it would make sense if they don't, because you were saying that Blu-ray is becoming really big, but
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now that like discs are dying.
that's true.
But
That's true.
you see, I can't get any of my movies on Netflix or Hulu, but I can't get any of them at a Blockbuster anymore. I have to go to Redbox, which has out-of-date movies. So
Yeah.
I really can't get movies anywhere except for buying them, and I have to buy them online, and sometimes they're not even there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Blu-rays is slowly actually
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Hmm.
And Blu-ray discs are still quite expensive. I mean,
Yeah,
They're really clear though, like really clear.
very.
Very.
yeah.
But
I mean, the resolution is insane, but for these people who like to watch movies in high resolution, Blu-ray is for them. But for normal people, Blu-ray isn't something that we would want to have. Just the price for the Blu-ray player for each movie you pay. How much you pay for a Blu-ray movie? $50, $60, depending on how new or old they are. And I don't know. I don't like Blu-ray. I mean, the resolution is okay, but I rather watch my movies on Netflix or something like that, as it's just more convenient for myself.
Okay, so guys, thanks for your thoughts. So there'll be 4 new models for the MacBook Pros, like I said, and 2 of them will be slight updates, and 2 of them will be upgraded. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a smart decision to go with an update and then an upgrade, because that offers something for the user that has less money. The cheaper experience, like the upgrade is like the AT&T or Verizon 4G, and then the update is like Metro PCS or something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If you understand my analogy, they're offering a lower end device it's still high end. It's just not as high end as the upgraded, so that
Yeah.
students, for example, can afford it. Because I don't think they have their iPod Touch program anymore, where like they don't have that deal where you can get a Mac.
Yeah, the education discount, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the education discount really isn't that much.
Yeah, it's just no tax, I guess. You don't pay
Well,
tax.
I think it's like minus $100.
Yeah.
But most students buy from an on-campus store, so
Yeah.
prices are a lot more expensive even there. So if they're offering better hardware at a lower price,
Mm.
I would. That's why I built my own PC, is because I could have either bought an older Mac Pro that for more expensive with the same specifications, or I could have built one on my own for less. So it's kind of the pricing that really matters to them here.
Yeah.
Especially students. I'm buying a new Mac this year. I mean, this month, as soon as they are launched, and pricing does matter. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, the 15-inch MacBook Pros are already going to be so expensive and so professional. You think going to the 17-inch MacBook Pros? Do you think that there will be a 17-inch MacBook Pro, or will Apple just scrap it and
I would say a 50-50 chance that it will be dropped. I mean, I know quite a lot of people that buy 17-inch MacBook Pros because they want to have a portable workhorse or a work machine, and I mean, it does make sense to have Apple drop the 17-inch, but I'm not sure if it would please the users who have need for that sort of screen or resolution.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it only grew 1% last year. So
Yeah, but there are still people who buy them, but not as. I mean, since the release of the MacBook Air, people went with the smaller devices, and the people who have actually need for the 17-inch are looking at devices that are looking at computers that are lighter, because 17-inch the 17-inch is quite heavy, as you know, and just paying $300 for a bigger screen is ridiculous. I mean, it has the exact same specs as the high-end 15-inch, and you pay $300 just to get a 17-inch screen. So,
and it's probably gonna be more expensive, probably up to like 3,700 mark.
I
What?
I've been told that Apple will drop the MacBook Pro 17-inch,
yeah,
and this is reliable information.
And I'm also pretty sure, but 17-inch is a good size for a work machine, but people don't carry 17-inch laptops anymore. I mean, they're too big and too heavy. So I can see Apple dropping the 17-inch MacBook.
I actually have a friend in school that does that. It's pretty weird, trust me.
What?
He carries a 17-inch MacBook Pro everywhere.
Oh, everybody in my school does that.
It's huge. I mean,
Well, they afford them.
so that's enough talk about the MacBook Pros. That's a lot right there. Have you guys got any info on the MacBook Airs? It's said to come with a Retina display and Ivy Bridge processors.
Ivy Bridge. I experienced it at CES with a lot of other stuff, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And if the MacBook Airs are already pretty powerful. I mean, they have an SSD. They have really nice displays, and they're small, thin.
Yeah, I really like the Studio Basil. Just
I think if they're going to use that processor, they're really going to make their device appeal to like PC users, like at HP, because HP currently just barely leads Apple. HP users usually want a more powerful device. So if Apple's doing this, they'll probably attract those users that want the more power, and they'll have a much nicer device at the same time.
Yeah. And also, another rumor that was pointed out, I think was one of my tech sources, Retina display will come to only the 13 inches, or you think they will put it for the 11 inches as well?
I think they're just going to keep it at the 13-inch.
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense, I guess. I mean, the prices are from $1,000 to $1,689. So $1,000 for like 11-inch MacBook Air with a Retina display would be a bit too cheap, I guess.
Yeah, I think the three lower end. There'll be three lower end models, and then the highest end model will have a Retina display, or maybe the two higher priced ones.
Yeah, the two.
The 1,349.
Yeah.
Or the Retina display could be a build to order option.
Yeah, that would make sense. Although I think a lot of people, just the general lay folk, don't understand how to use that service.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, it's pretty intuitive though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think Apple will, use the Retina display as a main marketing or a main selling point, just as it did with the iPhone 4 and 4S. I mean, just the iPhone 4. It had like the best mobile. It had the best screen in the mobile phone industry market, and that's something that I think that's something that Apple would really boast. I mean, no computer has a Retina display as of right now, as far as
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
concerned.
most displays on laptops are decent, although I find like the resolution sometimes is not where I want it to be.
And yeah, like I told you, Apple could really use it as a main selling point. I mean, why? I mean, Retina display, thinner profile, MacBook Air, and I can see some marketing lines from Apple incorporating the Retina display. I mean, it's a lovely feature and thing to have on a laptop.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
So
so
that's it about the MacBook Airs. There's not
yep.
much news about it.
And now we will be talking about the iMacs.
Yeah. Big
And
displays.
yep, and I'm so looking forward to the iMacs.
Retina display, that's all I heard so far. Retina display, 4,000 something by 3,000. Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be insane.
Dude, that's insane. I'm sorry, man. That's like 4 HD TVs.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just curious on like a manufacturing standpoint. How
Yeah.
hard are these to repair?
I mean, the Firebolt display costs like $1,000 by itself, and the resolution is the same as the iMac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the standalone display is already $1,000, and having like a super high resolution display with the hardware, with the computer hardware, is going to be quite expensive for Apple to make. I mean, they're not going to make much profit if they were going to put a Retina display on the iMac. I mean, just the screen itself is already really expensive to make, and I wouldn't be surprised if Apple would not update their iMac with a Retina display. I mean, the Retina displays are expensive. I mean, the high resolution displays are expensive, and Apple wouldn't be too happy wouldn't be too happy because they wouldn't make much money off their computer as they like to make lots of profit. So Retina display on iMac, I wouldn't say that they will do this year. I mean, it's going to be quite expensive for Apple.
Yeah, probably up to
Yeah.
$4,000 price point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you want to have a build to order, unless they put in a build to order option.
Yeah, that would be pretty good actually. Yeah.
No,
I guess they
that
could
would
do that
make
with the
sense.
iMac.
Yep, that would make sense actually. I mean, build to order Retina display.
Because right here on this chart right here,
Yeah.
the spreadsheet, it shows the iMac right next to the 13-inch and 15-inch MacBook Pros that don't have the Retina display. So it makes sense that Apple would group those two together as like the pair that won't have Retina display by default, but might have it as an upgrade.
Yeah.
Just like it shows the 15-inch MacBook Pro and then the 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro.
Yep.
They might offer an iMac in that similar style, either built to order or they'll have a separate device pre-made
Yep.
that you can just order with a Retina display.
Yeah.
Yep. The screen on the iMac is already really good. I mean, it's not good. It's really good. The resolution is good. The number of pixels are decent, and it's not a bad screen. I mean, I really like it. I mean,
Also, have you guys ever thought about playing games on a Retina display? I mean, wouldn't they shrink down to size? I mean, like the window itself.
oh yeah. Yeah, it would. That would be an art issues, and that would be an art issues for developers, for game developers, as they would have to update their games to Retina display
Oh
like the
Jesus.
iPhone products. Yeah,
Yeah.
apps, not products, apps. Sorry.
Recently, I've been like looking at because I'm taking a college course right now. I've been in Java, and I'm looking at like getting into graphic design
Mm.
with code. So just coding things because right now a Photoshop file for a Retina display is huge.
Yep.
Now think when an iMac has a Retina display, you'll have to individually code each image in order to save space. In order to keep
Yeah.
keep the apps the same size, you're gonna have to code them at a smaller size and then let them
Exactly.
scale.
It's gonna
Yep.
take too long, especially for Battlefield 3.
Yeah, and I've played games on a Mac like StarCraft, and the problem is, how are graphics cards going to handle this? Because Apple
Yeah.
uses 100% mobile. They use mobile graphics cards and mobile
And I-
processors in their iMacs.
Yeah, I really want to see a desktop graphics card on the iMac. I mean, game would be really good if it had a decent graphics card.
I mean, I'm sure they could fit like a 560 in there
Yeah,
or a 460.
yeah. Do you think that Apple will go with ATI or Nvidia?
No,
They'll
I say
go
Nvidia,
with
man.
Radeon.
Nvidia.
Yeah,
Well, I have seen hints of Nvidia from people, but
Yeah,
I mean,
rumors, yeah, that's
recently they've been favoring ATI Radeons.
but Adobe favors Nvidia for their acceleration thing on After Effects and Premiere Pro, so that would make sense for the pro users.
But also, Apple completely slammed Nvidia with their A5X. That was like a big smack to the face for Nvidia because their Tegra
Yeah.
3, they were really supporting, but it because of like Android and stuff, I hear it doesn't perform well at all, and I've experienced it firsthand. There's a lot of lag.
The only,
It's like
Android,
it's too powerful.
the only Android phones that are good are probably the HTC One X, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, and the S3, right?
Yeah, I hear that the S's are the Nexus series, the original Google, kind of plain phones are the ones that really perform the best.
Yeah, I mean standard Google, I guess. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so anyway, not
But-
talking about Google. Any news on the Mac Minis? I haven't heard much besides Ivy Bridge processors, USB 3.0, and Thunderbolt.
Yeah. I mean, they can't really add a Retina display to a device that doesn't have a display.
Unless they had a Retina display to the Thunderbolt display, I guess.
or if they made the Thunderbolt display is already. They recently updated that.
Yeah, I don't
within
think
the
it's gonna be updated. Yeah.
and they're already nice enough.
I can't even afford it. It's $1,000. I can't even afford it yet.
That's just for the display,
Yeah,
exactly.
dude. Just imagine having the Retina display, Thunderbolt display. That would be like
Oh,
$2,000.
Yeah.
exactly why they probably won't give the Retina display to the iMac.
Yeah.
Because that's the same size as the Thunderbolt displays,
Yeah.
and it has a computer attached to it.
Yeah, I don't think the Mac Minis are also too strong. I mean, they're too weak to handle the Retina display, Thunderbolt displays. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I have one, and it is not. Even though it's from 2006, back when in 2006, this was the top of the line model. It isn't very powerful,
Yeah, it's not.
even for that time. It wasn't.
Talking about high resolution displays. High resolution displays, Retina displays are awesome, but another thing that we would have to be concerned about is the graphics card that will be on the max, because the graphics card must be powerful in order to handle all the intensity with the Retina display, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And of course the graphics.
Yeah.
Like the file size.
Yeah.
That would be a huge concern for developers.
Full screen apps.
No, I mean,
that would be a mess.
if there is going to be an actual Retina display on a Mac, they would have to pretty much put in really good graphics card into their Macs, as Retina displays do require good graphics card. I mean, graphics card, as the Apple was able to use lower end graphics card, as the screen wasn't as graphic intensive as the Retina display, so they were able to use like really bad graphics card. But with the Retina display coming to the iMacs, I think that they would have to update their graphics card into a really good one, maybe an NVIDIA or ATI. What's it called? The ATIs.
Radeon.
560.
Yeah,
560,
yeah.
Probably 560.
Yeah, I mean they have to be good. I mean, Retina displays need good power. Need something to be powered on.
And part
Or
of
that,
that's
or they could have two lower end for the same price and Crossfire.
Yeah,
Although that would take up more space.
exactly.
yeah, and another problem would be you know how you said that they won't switch your SSDs. Well, Retina display apps probably gonna take a lot of space into your hard drive. So I think that's one reason why
Unless
they will go
images are
HD.
coded.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, more code, more space is needed. I mean,
But see, the thing is, if you get rid of the images in general and then code the images, you can code them at a really small size, so they take up very little data, and then you can use code to make them scale. And the good thing about that is, with an image, you can scale it, but the file gets larger. With code, you only need a few lines to make it scale, and the resolution increases with that.
But developers couldn't be bothered to code each of their games or programs, so
that
they
would be
just
nice.
scale them up and make them like really big.
Yeah, Angry Birds Space in Retina display.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an app recently released on the
Yeah, it was called 4 something,
Mac app.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. But they just did a blind guess with that. I'm sure it's probably a small app and then a large file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think probably if Apple ever goes this direction, they'll probably come up with something that they'll put in their SDK, so that users, like the developers, can do something about these images and their image sizes.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, anyway, talking all that chit chat about the Retina display and stuff like that, let's talk about the Mac Pros. Whoa, they have not been updated in a long time.
Big boy.
Yep.
How long has it been?
2 years, I think.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah.
And what's the last update?
I actually wanted to buy one, but I didn't want them to be updated
So
because they are expensive.
yeah, and there was speculation about Apple removing stocks on retailers, and it is said to come with Xeon E5 chips, USB 3.0, and Thunderbolt ports. That's all I heard. So
I personally love the Xeon.
it's gonna be a beast.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the Ivy Bridge Xeon, as it's going to be released at the end of this year. The Xeon Ivy Bridge Xeons. It's going to be a Sandy Bridge Xeon that is really powerful, but it's not going to be the latest Intel Xeon Ivy Bridge processor. So you'd have to cope with the older Sandy Bridge model. Well,
I mean, at that much power, you probably don't. I guess if you're looking for that much power, you might mind. Because if you're going to spend the money, you really want the newest
Yep. But
thing,
the
the
thing
latest
is,
and greatest.
yep. But the thing is that Apple hasn't updated their Mac Pro in years, and people are really, really needing. People that actually have the need to buy a Mac Pro are really eager to buy one now, and Apple must update them now, or else it will lose sales to other companies, and the people that want to buy the Mac Pros would have to cope with the older processor. That's what they need. I mean, that's what they would have to cope with. I mean, they can't just have the latest model because it's going to be released later this year. And I can see Apple updating the Mac Pro again later this year, as the iRich will be coming later this year, just like I told you. So if you want the latest and greatest, you can have them with the Mac Pro now. So yeah,
You always got to get a display, so it's gonna
Perhaps.
cost a lot.
But
So,
I have a VPS that runs a Sandy Bridge Xeon.
mm,
And overall, I'm really pleased with them.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen benchmarks with the Xeons, and they're pretty good for server use.
Yeah,
This.
3 models. There'll be 3 models coming out. 2 Mac
6,
Pros
4,
Better
8, or
than
12, 4.
and 1 server.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the server, they might like cut graphics down, and then add possibly like some more RAM or something.
Yeah.
So that might compensate a little.
Just like it did now. I mean, the server has 8 gigs of RAM compared to 12 core, the high end Mac Pro that only has 6 gigs, and it has more hard drives than the quad core model. And overall, I think Apple is going to be adding more RAM and more power to the Mac Pro, server Mac Pro.
I mean, of course. If you're getting a server, you want power.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
A lot
I was just saying. I mean, Apple is perhaps going to be adding 16 gigs of RAM, perhaps, for their server model, and a way more powerful quad-core Xeon processor, like a really, really fast one.
They'll probably have it out of the box. Maybe they'll have like a default like overclock or of some sort.
Unlocked processor.
Or maybe like Apple sets some software restrictions, but they make it so it's
Able to
somewhere in between the unlocked and the default.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, tomorrow is going to be the day that we all have been waiting for.
Oh my god. You're giving me goosebumps, man.
It's funny because I'll be in class.
So, I think you bring your laptop to school.
Yeah, but when my professor talks, I have to close my laptop. Because, see, I'm not actually like in school. I'm taking a college course as a guest, so I have to be very respectful.
But you can still check out the live blogs on Engadget and stuff, right?
Yeah. I'll probably just talk with some developers that I know that'll be there.
I see. So you have a lot of connections, right?
Of course.
Cool.
Alright, so that's enough of the Macs.
Let's go with the software.
No, actually, we're going to talk about the iPad Nano first for a second.
Oh, okay. My specialty.
Yeah, so you work.
Go ahead.
You got hired at Zugu, right, Graham?
Yes.
So there was a leaked image of a 9to5 Mac reported by you, somewhat. It was said to come with 7.85 inches, a smaller dock connector, and larger speakers, following the same design as the rumored iPhone 5.
Yeah, the dock, I think they might be going with micro USB, just because there's been talk of like making a universal charging cord, because it's a pain because there's mini USB, micro USB, USB 3.0, Thunderbolt, the Apple's current MagSafe, and I think Apple could possibly be going with like a MagSafe alternative, because that's something I've heard they've been researching.
Mm-hmm.
And the image on the Zugu blog, it looks really bad. It's a low resolution. The colors are distorted, and the alignment is kind of distorted by the low resolution camera. But don't let that fool you, because
It kinda
Apple
looks
is in
legit,
fact manufacturing
It
an
kind of looks
iPad
legit.
Nano.
Like, we all the iPhone 5 rumors, and now this comes up, so it kind of makes it look really believable.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying like the Apple logo is blue. They don't understand that in China, first of all, they probably don't. The source doesn't have a very good camera. Second of all, they can't give a higher resolution image because that could give information away that reveals their identity.
Yeah.
But so if these iPad minis do come out, which I believe they will, I'm told, will not come out at WWDC.
Yeah, I don't think new iPad Nano is gonna come up. Not
As well as iPhone 5. I think it's going to be strictly Max, and of course iOS 6, because
Yeah,
they have a
the
banner
banner,
up
yeah.
in Moscone.
That's so leaked. Okay, anyway, enough of the iPad Nano. Let's talk about the iTV or the Apple TV.
Yeah, go ahead.
You think Apple will unveil the iTV next week, or will they introduce a
I
sneak
think
peek
they
into the
might.
future software?
Well, I definitely think they're going to be showing off software.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
an
not-
SDK, right, for the Apple TV.
I'm not sure about the Apple TV. I've been told that they will be coming out with it, but that's my less reliable source.
Hmm.
I
Now, I
think-
would love to see apps like on the Apple TV. Maybe it's Skype or something, because I'm too lazy to buy a Samsung Smart TV.
I
Yeah,
don't-
like the
Yeah. I don't think that Apple will be releasing the iTV just yet. Maybe they would make a specific event later this year, just to have the iTV in the spotlight.
but they're gonna have to. I think it'll be like end year, maybe winter, because I'm hearing in fall that's when the iPhone 5 and the iPad Mini
And the iPod Touch.
are coming. Yeah, and the iPod Touch 4.1 inch, iPod
Yeah.
Touch 5.
Oh, 5. Okay, and alright, that's enough of the Apple TV. There's not much about it. Mountain Lion, that's a big news. The Mountain Lion final developer preview is set to be announced at WWDC, because there were banners spotted at the Moscone Center,
Yeah,
and it's set to come with the top 10 features: notification center, Twitter integration, game center, messages integration, notes, reminders, iCloud built-in functionality, AirPlay mirroring, share sheets such as Twitter, in Safari, and then Gatekeeper, Do Not Disturb mode, and possibly a cheaper upgrade. You think?
I think they'll offer a less expensive upgrade.
Yeah, because this
Um,
wasn't such a big upgrade from like Snow Leopard to Lion.
Well, also Lion. The problem with Lion was, compared to sales for like everything, like Windows 8, I hear has had like almost more downloads than Lion,
No way.
and it's only on like a beta.
No way, man.
Um,
no way.
But the Lion sales have been terrible. I've looked at the demographics for them, and Windows Vista sold more,
That's funny.
and Windows Vista was I can't even describe it with words.
It's so.
Talking
It
about
was
how much
so
they
bad.
sold, you know how much Apple loves to emphasize their things during their keynotes. I talk really slowly and they go like, oh my god, this
Yeah.
product is so good.
It's
so
gonna be
like,
magical.
yeah, dude, revolutionary. And you know how when Tim Cook emphasized, or was that the Mac guy? I forgot his name again. The fat guy. Yeah. He emphasized that the Mac sales are growing in such high rate. Do you guys believe any of that?
I think I
Yeah.
think they are growing because they're about to overtake HP, but I think their software is getting worse.
Yeah, they also mentioned Lion was like increasing at a rapid growth in their.
Well, that's because they're selling the devices with Line pre-installed. That's where they're getting a majority of their installs.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And when talking about these sales, many people that I know made the switch from Windows to Mac, from pro users to noobs. I mean, they switched to Mac just because Mac is getting more and more mainstream these days, and not only pros use Mac anymore, so students, casual users use Mac because the simplicity of the product themselves.
It just works, right? The three
It
simple
just works,
words.
yeah.
It just
Just
works.
out the box. Just
Yeah.
out the box. And there's not a way to describe it. I mean, it just works.
The problem with Lion was that they released it. They released the same version as their beta.
Mm.
It was the same exact build, which was far from ready.
It was.
And
It was really.
I'm afraid.
It was really buggy.
Yeah, it was. I'm afraid they'll do the same with Mountain Lion. I mean, I've tested it firsthand, and I've seen it progress and get better.
Yeah.
But
Have
I'm
you guys
not
installed
sure
it
if
on,
it's ready for release.
Have you guys installed it on any of the Mac laptops?
Well, I installed it on my custom PC build on a partition, Hackintosh.
Because you know when OS X Line came out, like there were so many battery concerns regarding how there were so many battery issues in all those Mac laptops, such as the MacBook Pros. How they only lasted for like 3 hours from 7 hours in Snow Leopard.
Now imagine with a Retina display.
Oh, dude, 1 hour, man.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
dad
case
has
or
a Mac.
panel.
My dad has a Mac Pro in the office. We have Lion, and he didn't really liked Lion. Just the fact that it was like really bugged.
Yeah, there were also iCloud banners that were spotted at Moscone, so that confirms that there will be new iCloud website options, such as notes and reminders that was leaked a few months ago.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes sense because they have their reminders application. They have notes and notes synced with MobileMe. I'm looking to see some more web apps with the introduction of, first of all, Siri out of beta.
Yeah.
And then the HDTV, because I think a lot of their apps, because you're saying you're looking forward to apps on the iPad. I mean, the iTV or whatever they're going to call it. I think they could use iCloud for some of those.
Yeah.
Like web apps of some sort. But like we saw with the hacker that made like iPad things work on the Apple TV, just the like set-top box.
Yeah.
It's possible that Apple could integrate iCloud somehow for streaming movies and then downloading apps.
Yeah, but like you told me, like you said earlier, not many people have good internet connections. I mean, not many people could use iCloud just because their internet is just not good enough for streaming.
Yeah.
Just like you told me earlier. So, iCloud integration would still be a question. I mean, they somehow would have to use a physical medium to use. I mean,
Yeah, they'll probably still have a disc drive.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll include Blu-ray though.
yeah. Not discs. I mean, perhaps like a USB drive, Apple USB drive, or something like that. Just like something new. by Apple. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so you guys think that iCloud on the iCloud upgrades would be cheaper? I mean, they didn't get much sales in iCloud upgrades.
Um, I'm not sure about that because Apple invested a hell of money into a new data center,
Yeah, I know,
and
yeah.
if they, I'm not sure if they would be, lowering down the prices just because they invested a lot of money into a data center, and lowering the prices wouldn't be a thing to do. I mean, they still would have to make money off the data center.
Well, Google Drive is like, really
Yeah,
cheap, so I
yeah,
think they're gonna have
it's
competition there.
yeah. They would have to compete with uh the Google Drive.
Okay, so Will,
Yep.
iOS 6 beta is set to be released as well. There were banners getting set up in Moscone that confirms the iOS 6 announcement. So it's said to come with widgets. I don't know much about that. A new
Mhm.
GUI, a silver look, new 3D map renderings that were showed off at Google's Maps conference. Pretty cool. Facebook integration, new iTunes app and iBook store changes, Siri to the new iPad. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
iCloud Safari tabs, a do not disturb mode like in Mountain Lion, VIP mail recipients, and a new default wallpaper. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, the thing that I want most with iOS 6 is a whole new user interface. Just like something just new. Just scrap the old user interface and have something new. Just try something new. I mean, it's getting really boring. I've been using Apple iOS products since the start of since iPhone and since the first iPhone, and it's been like 5 years, and I've been using iOS devices for 5 years now, and it's really getting boring. I really want something new.
Yeah, me too. Like maybe a new look, like I said, like the silver look instead of that, blue look again, and maybe a
Yeah,
new,
so I would like to have more freedom with my device. I mean,
yeah,
more customization options.
widgets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
widgets. Although I'm not really into widgets, but something like NC settings, like say a tweak
Yeah.
that you would be able to that your settings like right on your notification center or right on
Or
your home screen. I mean,
or
that would
like
be really convenient.
or like a Twitter spreadsheet, just on your home
Mm,
screen. You know how
yeah,
they can like make an option to put the NC widgets into your home screen. You get the option to switch between each of them.
yeah,
Like that weather widget on your NC.
mm,
Yeah, you can
mm,
put down your home screen. This kind
yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
But like I told you, I'm really looking forward to a new UI.
Yeah.
And talking about Facebook integration, that it's about time to have Facebook. I mean, it wouldn't. It's not late. It's not too late now, but it's. I mean, they should have had Facebook since they introduced Twitter
iOS 5.
integration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time now. And new iTunes, App Store, and iBook store changes are also they need a new redesign because they've been using the same design since day one of iOS. Since the App Store launched and the iTunes Store launched, and a store change would be a nice thing to have. And everything Siri to new iPad.
Yeah. Siri to new iPad. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Honestly.
That would be really nice. I mean,
Yeah. Did you see the image of the concept? Like a little tiny.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool, and I mean, why not have Siri on a new iPad?
I mean, the
Has
iPad's like A5X. That's really powerful, and
yeah. I mean, the iPhone 4S. I mean, the exclusivity for the iPhone 4S was okay for me, but since iPhone 5 is coming, the exclusivity with the iPhone 4S is going to be gone with the new iPad. I mean, the new iPad is going to have Siri along with the iPhone 4S as
yeah,
the new iPhone is coming.
yeah. And also, finally, a new default wallpaper. Oh my god, I've been having the same wallpaper for the past whole year. You know that bubble one?
Yeah, bubble. Yeah.
Oh god, I'm sick of that. Okay, so let's wrap things up here. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below, telling us what you think we should improve on. Hit the subscribe button, visit TechKon.net, and again, all the links are in the description bar. That concludes our podcast, our first podcast for TechKon.
Yep.
Graham and William and myself, Keith. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.